Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Year of the Batman. Today's Batman Beyond episode is April Moon, which I know they do reference it that it's based on a famous song. I am not familiar with the song. It's late. I didn't feel like looking up the song, but it doesn't really like tie into that episode. Is like you can enjoy the episode as is. You don't need to listen to the song. I'm sure it probably adds like another depth to it that's makes it more appreciative, but you don't need it. I was just giving you reference. So starts off these four guys with robotic enhancements, I guess, cybernetic enhancements. They're trying to rob a bank, and you have one guy who he pretty much turns into like the Ironmonger. Like the villain from the first Iron Man. He like just puts his whole body in this metal suit, and he's just like big and kind of like the Juggernaut or the Rhino, just big and powerful and can run and just do a lot of damage. You have one guy who's kind of like Whiplash, where he has like these metal whips he can pull from his wrists and do all crazy kind of stuff with them. Another one who can like make his fist turn into like different shapes, like he can make like really big fist or like big cylinders with like a flat head. Which honestly, the first guy is you just need him. I don't know what the fist guy was for. I mean, the one guy that turned into a whole suit, he had the fist to go with it. And then the last guy, who he kind of has like almost Wolverine claws, where he extends himself and there's chainsaws that come from his wrist. Where you're like, oh, that's kind of neat. But then you have he does the same thing at his knees. So imagine this is my knee. You have a chainsaw coming just straight out of it, and I'm just like, how do you even fight like that? It's really weird. So Batman comes in. He's fighting them. During the fight, he is kicking their butts a little bit. And at one point, the chainsaw guy he like falls over, and one of his like chainsaws gets stuck in the ground because when you fall, your knees hit the ground. But there's a bit of some teaming up, and Batman gets knocked out, and the guys do escape. So because the cops are on the way, so they're oh we can handle Batman, but the cops, oh, that's a totally different story. So they get out of there. So Batman, he's like, Bruce, do you know what the hell this thing is? Because he takes like the servo motor with him. He's like, yeah, I know exactly what this is. This is the type of motor that this one doctor that actually got the parts that I used for the bat suit. He builds these parts for like amputees. So yeah, this is definitely his handiwork. So it then goes to the four gentlemen. They're going to see the good doctor, um, and they're like, "Hey, one of my guys got fucked up. Fix him." So he fixes him up, and afterwards the guys like pay him a little bit of jewels, and he's like, "That's not what you know what I want." And you can kind of surmise that they're keeping his like wife hostage because there's a picture of her, him looking longingly at her. It's not said, but I mean, if you use your brain, you can figure it out. They're holding her hostage, so he has to fix them up. So anyway, I had a brain fart. Oh yes, yes. So Batman he tracks him down, and when he's trying to he tracks the good doctor down because he's trying to make a house call to talk to him, and the doctor he drugs him, and by the time Terry wakes up, the place is completely cleared out. Which he talks to Max about it, and he's like, or Max is like, hey, Terry, he had every way to kill you, but he didn't. He just like left you alive, so he's still probably not that bad of a guy. And Terry's like, damn, Max, that's a good point. I should probably date you instead of stupid fucking Dana. He didn't say that part, but a man can dream. So anyway, Max is like, well, let's see if this guy is really as good as we think he is. So they call and make it seem like they need an emergency doctor who happens to be the one they're looking for, and it's like a something with an accident and both legs are missing. So the doctor he leaves the four gentlemen. He's like, all right, guys, I'm actually needed to do something good, so I'll be right back. So he goes there, and surprise, surprise, it's Batman waiting for him. And he gets to talking, and he's like, listen, Batman, my love of my life, April, she's been kidnapped, and they're holding her hostage. And he explains how they met, and like eventually how Bullwhip, the guy with the whips, came in contact with him, and now how he uh, like took her hostage to work for him because he's like, hey, you're kind of the best doctor in the business regarding these accessories you put on us. So why don't you make them even better, and we won't kill your wife? Which, I mean, he's like late 50s, early 60s, and the wife is like late 20s, early 30s, and she is fine, like so fine. I'm just like, man, that doctor's got to have a 13-inch cock, and she's got to be a size queen because I don't know what the fuck else is going on there. So, I mean, it is like distractingly, like the age gap is just like, you can't help but notice. So, while they're talking, the guys bust down the door, and it's all four of them. And he plays it off really cool. He's like, "Oh my god, thank God you guys followed me. It was a trap all along. Kill Batman." And Terry's like, "What the fuck?" So another fight breaks out, and he's getting his ass whooped pretty good this time. So Terry, he like lays down a smoke bomb, and he like flies away. But it was just like a distraction. Well, not a distraction, just like a ploy, because when they went off, Terry then tailed him in the Batwing. So he follows them back to their hideout, and then the doctor approaches Batman. He's like, "I thought you'd try some stupid ass trick like that. Well, I'm not gonna let you take care of trying to rescue my wife and get her possibly hurt." Um, and during their conversations, it is revealed that there is a kill switch to all their suits, but he will not tell Batman what it is. But Bruce, figuring it out, as Terry is following him, he says, "Hey, Terry, there is a kill switch on him, and it is voice activated. So it most likely is something brief and something that wouldn't really normally be uttered in day to day conversation. It probably means something to the doctor." So they discover that it was April that was actually in on it as well. So she's hooking up with like the main guy, Bullwhip, and the doctor, he is just absolutely heartbroken. And I'm just like, dude, you're like 30 years on her. Like, did you really expect this was a two-way thing? Like, I had a feeling it definitely wasn't. So he like just starts bawling out just because he's just so hurt from the whole thing. And Batman's like, shut the fuck up, they're gonna hear us. So he puts him in his cellar, and a fight starts, and he kind of coaxes Bullwhip into using his whip on him while he's on like a street light. So Bullwhip, he lashes out his whip, and he gets electrocuted, and he's down. And then he's fighting the other three, and he gets knocked out. And then the guy with the chainsaw, he's about to cut his head off. And then Batman has like a last ditch effort, whispers into him, "April Moon." And then that turns out to be it, because I didn't say it earlier. That was their song, because her name's April, and she had a picture with the moon, and there's a famous song called April Moon that was their song. So yeah, like I said, you don't need to know the song to appreciate this episode. So anyway, tells the other two, April Moon, April Moon, and then when the last guy when he comes to take on the last guy, he's gone, April's gone, and the good doctor's gone. So he gets back to the Batcave, and Batman's like, "Oh well, I guess we'll probably see them sometime soon." Because I mean, I doubt they're just gonna leave it at that. And Batman's like, "Yeah, you're right." And Bruce is like, "Wait a minute. Did the doctor like reveal himself to everybody, or was he out of eyesight?" And Terry's like, "Well, I made sure he wasn't seen when I was there. Why do you say?" And Bruce is like, "Oh shit." So the last guy, Bullwhip, he goes to see the doctor to get even more enhancements and whatnot, and because he doesn't know that he was going to betray him, or he had like the kill switch to it. So he's under the table, and the doctor he's told, hey buddy, I want you, like, don't hold back, give me all the enhancements, all the upgrades, everything. And he's like, okay, no holding back, gotcha. Well, he's like menacingly holding a drill over his head, so it's kind of heavily implied that that doctor just killed him on the spot. And yeah, so that's the episode. Kind of gruesome, very sad though, because like the doctor genuinely is a nice guy, and he didn't really do anything. Like, the only thing he did was help people that were trying to rob banks, but he only did it to save somebody he deeply cares for, and then who turned out to be like in on it. Like, that's just so fucked. Um, so yeah, just a tragedy right there. Um, but rating wise, I'm trying to think. I mean, there wasn't really anything wrong with the episode. Very unique, and I'm not saying whether it's good or bad, but like for the villains, because one guy wasn't even necessary. Like the change your fist guy, because he didn't really do anything neat with it. He just made his fists big or made them into like big cylinders to punch with. And then you had this big hulking tank that was the equivalent of that. And then you have chainsaw knees, which I'm like, what the fuck even is? If he was just chainsaw arms, that'd be one thing. But to make him come out his knees, I'm like, that is so fucking impractical. Like, how do you fight with that? Because there's one part where they're like breaking into the bank, and he like hops up in the air and like boom, boom, and then with his knees boom and boom. I'm just like, dude, you're gonna hurt something doing that. But yeah, rating wise, I am trying to think though, because it wasn't really that special an episode. It was just kind of there. Um, so yeah, I think actually I'll just rate that a 4 out of 7. It's just an episode. It just exists. It's fine. Um, who knows? Maybe if I do listen to the April Moon song, it'll add a whole layer to it. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, that's it. Just average episode. It's still good though, I guess. Yeah. Bye bye.